In 2009, a single loaf of bread cost $35 billion. That wasn't hyperbole. It was Zimbabwe's daily reality. By the end of the 2000s, the Zimbabwean dollar had collapsed so catastrophically that the government was forced to print notes in denominations of 10 trillion, 50 trillion, even $100 trillion. Yet these notes could barely purchase basic food. This wasn't a sudden crash. It was a slow-motion economic implosion that began in the late 1990s and accelerated through one of the worst hyperinflation episodes in modern history. The roots lay in political upheaval. In the early 2000s, the Zimbabwean government seized white-owned commercial farms without compensation, redistributing them to political allies. Agricultural output plummeted. The country, once a net exporter of food, began importing. Foreign currency reserves dried up. The central bank, facing shortfalls, did what desperate governments often do. It printed money, lots of it. By 2004, inflation exceeded 300% annually. By 2007, it hit 600%. By 2008, the official rate became meaningless. Economists estimated real inflation above 80 billion%. A person's salary became worthless before payday arrived. Workers were paid in cash that lost value by the hour. Prices changed multiple times daily. Shopkeepers couldn't keep up with the math. The psychological toll was immense. Families couldn't plan. Savings evaporated overnight. The currency became a punchline. People collected the massive trillion-dollar notes as novelties because they were worthless as money. Pensioners watched decades of contributions vanish. Workers switched to bartering goods or using foreign currency like the South African rand or US dollar, abandoning their own money entirely. Businesses collapsed. Manufacturing ground to a halt. The middle class was obliterated. Those without access to foreign currency, the poorest citizens, suffered most acutely. Malnutrition spiked. Life expectancy fell. Migration surged as people fled, seeking work and stability elsewhere. The currency crisis wasn't just economic. It was a social catastrophe that fractured the nation. In 2009, the government formally abandoned the Zimbabwean dollar, adopting a multi-currency system. The trillion-dollar notes became historical artifacts, reminders of how quickly monetary systems can unravel when trust collapses and institutional discipline vanishes. Zimbabwe's crisis wasn't unique. It followed a familiar pattern. But the scale was extraordinary and the human cost was real. What Zimbabwe's hyperinflation reveals is this: money is ultimately a shared belief. When governments lose credibility through mismanagement, corruption, or institutional collapse, that belief evaporates. The paper in your wallet becomes paper. The numbers on a screen become fiction. Understanding how this happened illuminates why central banks guard their credibility so fiercely and why inflation, even modest inflation, demands attention. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe to explore more forgotten economic crises and the hidden mechanics of money through history. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.